Good day, my name is Nina Alexis Pasqua and I will introduce you to the first part of the discussion. But before we proceed onto the concept and types of hazards, let us first know what is hazard. A hazard is a potential source of harm either to health, life, property, or any other interest of value. Some of the basic examples of hazards are falling objects, chemical substances, and electricity. These kinds of hazards are commonly found at home or in any workplace. But hazards are not only limited to these things. To be specific, we also have hazards that are related to occurrences like disasters. To simply put, hazard is the prerequisite of any disaster. To understand its concept better, let us take this for example. Falling rocks from a mountain in a populated village. We can identify the falling rocks as the potential harm, and the people from the village with their properties are threatened with it. Therefore, we can label this certain event as a hazard. On the other hand, if the rock fall happened in an isolated area, we cannot label it as a hazard because no one and nothing is threatened. It will only be a mere event. We can further learn more about hazards by knowing its types. We will talk about its three classifications: the human-made, natural, and the combination of both. Human-made hazards are basically the occurrences that are made or triggered by humans. We are the one responsible in this kind of hazard. An example for this is the anthropogenic activities of people. The anthropogenic activities includes mining, release of industrial waste, smelting of as ore, incineration of fossil fuel, particularly coal, utilization of as-loaded water for irrigation and as-based pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. This is according to Karimi and others, year 2009. Now, when we say natural from the word itself, it happens naturally. These are the events or disasters which are beyond our control. Great examples for this will be earthquake, volcanic eruptions, storms, and tsunamis. These disasters, these disasters can also be labeled as geological because of their geologic condition in nature. These hazards are capable of dealing widespread damage or loss in properties, life, and environment. Lastly is the combination of both, or let us say the collaboration of natural and man-made hazards, which is also called the socio-natural hazards, commonly falls in circumstances wherein a man-made issue or event triggers another hazard, like a chain or domino effect. Flash floods, which happen naturally due to rainfall, can also be caused by problems in drainage systems, which are likely due to human activities. In this example, there are human-made activities and natural phenomena.
Hi, I'm Thomas Galugo, and Nina mentioned earlier the involvement of tsunami in hazards, which falls under the natural and geological hazards. In this particular segment of the video, we will focus on the nature of tsunamis. Tsunamis are giant waves caused by the earthquakes or volcanic eruptions under the sea, but as the waves travel inland, they build up to higher and higher heights as the depth of the ocean decreases. The speed of tsunami waves depends on the ocean depth rather than the distance from the source of the wave. Tsunami waves may travel as fast as jet planes over deep waters, only slowing down when reaching shallow waters. So what are the effects of tsunamis? The effects of tsunamis depend on such circumstances like the magnitude, speed, and height of the wave, and even the geographic location of it. Nevertheless, the casualties would still be high due to the discharge of large volumes of water. In worst-case scenarios, the following could happen. According to SMS tsunami warning, tsunami waves destroy boats, buildings, bridges, cars, trees, telephone lines, power lines, and just about anything else in their way. In the worst case, in the worst cases, small islands hit by a tsunami are left unrecognizable. So the violent force of tsunami result in instant death, most commonly by drowning. The areas close to the coast are flooded with seawater, damaging the infrastructure such as sewage and freshwater supplies for drinking. Flooding and contamination of drinking water can cause disease to spread in the tsunami hit areas. Illness such as malaria arise when water is stagnant and contaminated. A tsunami changes the landscape, it uproots trees and plants and destroys animal habitats such as nesting sites for birds. Land animals are killed by drowning, and sea animals are killed by pollution if dangerous chemicals are washed away into the sea, thus poisoning the marine life. To know more about the concept of tsunami, let's get to know some facts that are worthwhile to be aware of. The places with the greatest risk of tsunami are Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, Alaska, and California. Tsunami waves can be as huge as 100 feet also. The length of a tsunami can be as long as 100 kilometers, and the distance of the continuity occurring tsunami can be as far as 1 hour. Flooding caused by tsunami on the mainland can be more than 1,000 feet.
This animation clip will show us how a tsunami is formed under the sea. Have you ever wondered how lethal a tsunami can be? In the next part, we will be presenting real-life examples which will be presented by Miss Vega Escanio.
Moral Gulf Tsunami. Moral Gulf earthquake and tsunami happened on the 17th of August 1976. It happened at exactly 11 minutes past midnight near the islands of Mindanao in the Philippines. The 1976 Moral Gulf tsunami is considered as the worst tsunami disaster in the Philippines. The tsunami was said to be triggered by a megawatt 8.1 earthquake along the Cotabato Trench. Recording a 9-meter peak height wave, the strongest and most devastating tsunami hit the communities of Pagadian City, Zamboanga City, Cotabato City, and Libak in Sultan Kudarat. The disaster caused a massive destruction of properties and resulting in 8,000 loss of lives.
Cotabato, southern Philippines, August 19, 1976. A town shattered and shocked by the biggest natural disaster the Philippines has ever suffered.
Indian Ocean Tsunami. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami occurred at 07:58:53 local time on 26th of December, with an epicenter off the west coast of northern Sumatra, Indonesia. It was an undersea megathrust earthquake that registered a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3 megawatt, reaching a Mercalli intensity up to 9 in certain areas. The quake caused the ocean floor to suddenly rise by as much as 40 meters, triggering a massive tsunami. Within 20 minutes of the earthquake, the first of several 100-foot wave hit the shoreline of Banda Aceh, killing more than 100,000 people and pounding the city into rubble. Then, in succession, tsunami waves rolled over coastline in Thailand, India, and Sri Lanka, killing tens of thousands more. 8 hours later and 5,000 miles away from its Asian epicenter, the tsunami claimed its final casualty on the coast of South Africa. In all, nearly 230,000 people were killed, making it one of the deadliest disasters in modern history. Total material losses from the tsunami were estimated at $10 million.
With the previous clips, you are now equipped with the basic knowledge about tsunami. Tsunamis are scary, but we can do something to prepare for it. How? Let's move on to the next topic. So what can we do before a tsunami happens? Let's follow these steps. In most cases, earthquake happens before a tsunami. So,
After an earthquake occurs, listen to our radio news and know if there is a threat of tsunami in your coastal area. Participate in tsunami's preparedness actions and drills in your community for you to know what to do when a tsunami strikes. Prepare your family's go bag containing flashlight, whistle, bottled water, biscuits, and a battery-powered radio for survival.
So before a tsunami happens, let's remember three keywords based on what we have discussed earlier. First one is to be updated, second is to participate, and last but not the least is to prepare an emergency bag or go bag. We also need to remember that prevention is better than cure, so it's always good to be prepared for what's ahead of us. Now that we are done with the things that we should do before a tsunami happens, let's move on to the things or the steps that we should follow along during a tsunami or when a tsunami is happening to ensure our safety. During a tsunami, remember that panic should never be an option. Let's follow along these steps for our safety.
If you feel an earthquake that lasts 20 seconds or longer when you are on the coast, execute drop, cover, and hold on. You should first protect yourself from the earthquake. When the shaking stops, evacuate quickly and leave everything behind. A tsunami may be coming within a minute. Move quickly to higher ground away from the coast. Be careful to avoid downed power lines and stay away from buildings and bridges from which heavy objects might fall during an aftershock.
First, you should stay updated of the current situation. Return home only if local officials tell you it is safe. Second, get first aid if you are injured, as needed before helping other people who are also in needed. Third, to avoid injury, wear protective clothing